Hello guys. Oh, you can't see me. Let me fix that.
Hello guys, welcome back to a new channel. My name is Sam, also known as Football Man Sam, and we are back. Now in this video, we are going to be discussing my ratings of this season's Premier League stadiums. We are going to be doing it in alphabetical order, so we'll be starting with Arsenal, and in last place will be Wolves, where we'll be finishing with them. I'm going to give them a rating from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. We're going to start with Arsenal, the Emirates Stadium. I have given this one a 7. Now, for me, it's just a box standard modern day football stadium. There's nothing to it. The Arsenal fans aren't the best at home. That's been said by many fans. Again, it's nothing fancy. It's what you see all over the world, that type of stadium. So in my eyes, it's not really worthy of a 10, but not really worthy of being too low. So it's giving it a standard 7. Okay, we move on swiftly to Aston Villa Park. Now this is a stadium I've been to quite a few times, and it's a stadium I actually quite like. It's a historical stadium. It's not a modern day football stadium. Oh, excuse me. Let's forget that. Let's forget that. So I've given Villa Park 7. I think that's what the head does, isn't it? We used to do on Strictly Come Back. Anyway, let's forget that. 7 for Villa Park. The reason why I've given it a 7 is that I think it could do a slight improvement. When I've been there, you can see parts of it wearing away. But on the flip side, Villa fans are great. They really do get behind their team, even when they're down or whether they're winning. They really do let the Villa players know that they are supporting them. So that's why I've given it a 7. Okay, moving on to Bournemouth, the Vitality Stadium, who have just been relegated to the Championship. I've given it a 5. Again, it's a stadium I've been to, and the reason why I've given it a 5 is because it's simply not big enough for the Premier League. I think it can hold 10, 11,000, and only in the last few years has it had a stand behind one of the goals. When I used to go there and watch my local team, Yeovil, they used to only have 3 stands. They're not a bad set of fans, but purely for the basis that they are Premier League, well, they've been a Premier League team now for 3 or 4 years, and they haven't upgraded. I just not big enough for the Premier League, so that's hence why I've given it a 5. Okay, next on the list is Brighton, the Amex Stadium. The Amex, how you pronounce it. I've given this one a 6. It's not really. These modern day stadiums I'm not a fan of. Really not a fan of these modern day stadiums. They all seem just to have the same design. The Amex Stadium, I could name quite a few stadiums that look just like that. You know, the Irish Stadium they play the rugby at. I don't know the name of the stadium. It's just like the Amex. So I've given it a 6. The Brighton fans aren't the best from what I've seen. So it's just a mediocre 6. Next, Burnley Turf Moor. This again, it's a stadium I've been to. If you have been to Burnley as an away fan, you know how shocking the away end is. It is awful. You wouldn't want to sit down. Your ass would fall off by the end of the video. It's just wooden seats, and it really does need some upgrading. Really seriously does need some upgrading. Fans, not the best, but not the worst. So on the basis, I've given it a 6. Okay, moving on to Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. Nice historical stadium. They haven't moved on to your typical toilet bowl stadium, as people call it. So I've given Stamford Bridge a 7. I'm not the biggest fans of Chelsea fans. I don't think they're the greatest. I don't think they're the worst. They do what most teams would do and just try and get behind the team when they can. But because it's quite not an old stadium, but it's a renovated stadium, which is what I like. So hence why I've given it a 7. Okay, we're moving on to Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park. Now, this is going to be my highest rating so far for a stadium. Ooh, what have I given it? I have given it an 8. I've given Selhurst Park an 8. It is a very, very classical stadium, very old school, but what what made me give it an 8 was the Palace fans. Now, most football fans will know how good the Palace fans are at home. They practically act like a 12th man for Crystal Palace. They really do push on the Palace players, and they create some atmosphere. Not many teams create an atmosphere like Palace at home, and it helps with having an old stadium. You know, they've got a typical bowl stadium, modern day football stadium. They're not going to generate half the atmosphere they would at Selhurst Park. So it's another reason why I've given it an 8. Moving on to Everton, Goodison Park. I've given this one a 7. It's a stadium I've been to. It's a nice old stadium, but I went there as an away fan for Yeovil in the Carling Cup, and if you're an away fan and you're on the lower tier, and if you're right at the back, you can't see half the stadium, which isn't the best, especially if you're paying ticket prices, you know. So it could do with some renovating. I hope they don't completely dismantle it. I hope they try to keep some history to the stadium. But yeah, so that's why I've given it a 7. Okay, moving on to Leicester, the King Power Stadium. It's meh. It's not fancy. It's not old. It's what I'd call a plain Jane stadium. Do you get what I mean? It's just round. Nothing spectacular looking about it. Fans are good, not brilliant, but good in my eyes. So I've given it a 7. Yeah, you can't really rate it too low, you can't really rate it too high. So we've gone for 7. Moving on to Anfield, Liverpool, my favourite team. I've been a little bit biased here, but also I think there's a little bit of truth in it. Everyone knows Anfield's like a very, very historical stadium. And the fact that they haven't just decided to build a new stadium, they've decided to renovate the Anfield. As many of you know, on the main stand, they've put another tier on top, made the capacity, I think it's like 55,000 now, which I really, really love. It's a stadium again I've been to many times. It's a beautiful stadium. Plenty of history to it. Fans, as we all know, especially on the European night, are just incredible. Incredible. And when I went to watch them in a European night, they played FC Young Boys, and I was near the Young Boy fans, and to be fair, the Young Boy fans give a really good account of themselves, but that's a different story. But yeah, Anfield, been a bit biased, but also at the same time a little bit of truth, is a 9. Okay, we're moving on to Man City, the Etihad Stadium, also some people call it the Etihad Stadium. For me, it's a 5. It's a box standard. Come on, Sam, speak properly. It's a box standard stadium. Fans are awful, in my opinion. There's not really much more I can say about Man City. It's a club I don't particularly like for my reasons. The fans, I think, are awful, especially at the Etihad. Don't really always support the team. So just a 5. There's not really much more I can say. Just a 5. Old Trafford, Manchester United. I've given it an 8. Given it an 8. It's a very, as everyone knows, Old Trafford. It's a bit like Anfield. It's a historical stadium. It's a very well-known stadium. You've got the Stratford end, which I've got to admit they do get behind Man United teams. They do give a great atmosphere, especially when I've seen it on TV. It's like 78,000 people. It looks nice as well. So I've given it an 8. Okay, moving on to Newcastle, St James's Park, a stadium I have been to watch Newcastle play Liverpool. And I must say, Newcastle is one of the most beautiful stadiums I've seen. And if you've been there, you'll know it's beautiful. The way they've designed it, I know the away fans are like way up in the clouds, but it is a beautiful stadium, and everyone knows St James's Park, the fans get behind their team without fail. Week in, week out, they get behind their team. Even when they're protesting, you know, they protested, you know, as a fan set. They didn't just, it wasn't individual. So I really do like Newcastle St James's Park, so I've given it a 9. Norwich, Carrow Road, another stadium I've been to. I've given it a 6. Not a new stadium. It's not the biggest of stadiums either. Fans are okay. We watched them play Yeovil, and obviously they beat us Yeovil 3-0. So you expected the fans to be on top, but it's a mess stadium, so I've given it a 6. Sheffield United, Bramall Lane, again, another stadium I've been to. To watch them play Yeovil and they beat us. Let's think about that. I've given it a 7. A nice stadium, sort of a classic stadium. The fans, especially at the start of the day, really get behind their team with a chip butty, or it's greasy chip butty. But the fans, they belt it out, and they really do support their team. So I've given it a 7. We're moving on to Southampton, St Mary's. Surprise, surprise, another stadium I've been to watch them play Yeovil, and they've beaten us every single time. I've given it a 6. Again, it's similar to Leicester. It's just one of those box standard, modern-ish stadiums. Just one big circle, nothing fancy, no high stadiums and no low stands. It's just the same all the way round. Fans are standard. They didn't stand out to me when I visited them. Nothing special. So I'm giving it a 6. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, obviously Tottenham, the new stadium. Now I've seen videos on this, and it's very impressive in the inside. The outside, on pitch side with the stands, it's nice. But again, it's a similar bowl stadium. But I've given it an 8, and the reason why I've given it an 8 is I've watched plenty of videos on YouTube of the inside, and they've done a really smart job. It looks stunning on the inside, I must admit. Stunning on the inside, and that's why I've given it an 8. I don't know whether anyone's been there. If you have, if you have been there, let me know what you think, because I'd love to know what people think who've been to the new stadium. Fans are good. I think I've got quite a few Spurs mates, and every time I've watched Spurs, the fans have seemed to get behind the team. So yeah, I've given it an 8, more for the inside, I think. Okay, Watford, Vicarage Road, obviously now being relegated to the Championship. I've given it a 6. For many years, they didn't have 4 stands. They've recently just got a 4 stand on the side, I believe. Nothing special to the stadium. Fans are good on a scale, but they're good. But the stadium itself, I wouldn't want to, unless I haven't been there, I wouldn't go, oh, I really want to go to Vicarage Road. It's not one of those stadiums that doesn't grab my attention straight away. So I've given it a 6. Okay, we're going on to West Ham, London Stadium. This one's hard to judge. I mean, if we were talking about Upton Road, it would have been a 9 easily. But the fans do get behind their team. But it's the fact that it's at an Olympic stadium. Do West Ham fans really call it home? I'm not too sure. Fans aren't near the pitch. So for that reason, I've given it a 6. It's a shame, because I do like West Ham as a club, and I do like West Ham fans. It's just the fact they're in the stadium used for the Olympics. It's a bit annoying. So I've had to give it a 6. Okay, last but not least, Wolverhampton, the Molineux Stadium. Nice stadium. They recently renovated one of the stands behind the goal. Looks very smart, and I believe their owners are planning on expanding even more. I've got a really well supported Wolves fan as a mate, and he's been telling me that they've got potential to expand. And the fans at the Molineux really get behind their team. They're a really good set of fans. And it's a stadium would love to visit. So I've given it an 8. I think it deserves it. I think they create a really good atmosphere at the Molineux. So I've given it an 8. And with Wolves being the last team, that concludes my ratings of this year's Premier League team's stadium. Now, if you disagreed, but if you agreed, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your ratings of some of the teams. I'd be very interested to see what some people think of certain teams. And, you know, that is it. I hope you enjoyed. As I said at the start of this video, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.